everybody. I hope everybody's having a good day. I just wanted to apologize really quick for not having a Fiction Friday video uploaded for last week. I was busy all day Friday. I had to go to work because I was off that Monday. And then Saturday, when I was going to record a video for you, I got to go watch my nephews because my niece was born, which is really exciting. So, yeah, new niece. Yay. She's really small and she's adorable. She's cute. So excited to get to go over and spend some time with her. They've been sick, so I haven't gotten to see them. But anyway, so sorry and welcome to Fiction Friday. As I mentioned in my last video, I'm going to be exploring the worlds and developing the stories of each character in my Project Ohio, and the first one I've chosen to look at was Admon, also known as Josiah. It's a name he takes on later in life. Because his backstory was the most muddled for me, it was the one that I needed to pull out and really build the most, and so I decided to focus on him. And for those of you who know, Admon, sorry, I'm used to calling him Josiah, Admon is a Reaper. So we're going to talk a little bit about that Reaper society that I've built for him and what that looks like. So first I want to talk about the very first thing I did for Admon. Admon didn't have a surname, so I decided to pick out a surname for him. And I feel like this is a very crucial part of building characters, is giving them a full name. You can have a character that has a first name, a given name, but it doesn't really mean a whole lot until they have a surname. So I feel like that's really when the character starts to develop and become a real definable character. So now Admon, his mother is Korean, and that's who he spent most of his life with prior to going to the Reapers Association, and so I picked a Korean surname for him. For those of you who don't know how Eastern surnames work, Asian surnames, usually it is surname first, first name second, first name, given name. So you have your family name and then your given name. And so this is what Admon's full name looks like. Seong is the last name that I have chosen, the surname, and Admon is his given name. Now later on in life this changes. He goes by Josiah, but Seong is his family name, and this is the name that he chooses to keep even when he flops them because he lives in Western society and he starts to go as Josiah Seong. So this is his surname, and this was exciting for me. I know it's not so much for everybody else maybe, but when you're developing characters, giving them a surname, it gives them history, it gives them background, it ties them to their heritage. And so this is really important, and this was really exciting to be able to finally have a surname for Admon. Now what I've been doing over the past couple of weeks is really trying to dig into some research. I've been trying to look at different lore that surrounds Reapers in different societies and in different parts of the world, and I have been delving more into where I get a lot of my Reaper lore that I'm developing for my story from. Now for those of you who know about Reapers in my lore that I'm building from my stories, they descend from Cain, as in Cain and Abel. And so I went back and I reread chapter 4 of Genesis to get just to kind of refresh my memory on the story of Cain and Abel, as well as to pull some of what happened to Cain after the story of Cain and Abel. So I looked into a lot of that, and I worked on developing my world around some of that to give it more of a cohesive feel with where my lore for Reapers comes from. So I found some of the lineage of Cain. You know, Cain lay with his wife, and they had a son, kind of action that everybody knows is in the Old Testament. So Cain's very first son, his name was Enoch. And it even says in chapter 4 of Genesis that Cain names a city after his son. And so in my lore, Enoch is the name of the city where Reapers reside. There's one big city where all the Reapers live, and it's called Enoch. Now within this city there is the Reapers Association. They are the society itself. So you have the city that's named Enoch, and then you have the society that is known as the Reapers Association. You are a Reaper. 98% of the time you are a part of this association. It's very rare to have a Reaper who is not functioning within this association. So let's take a look at what this association looks like. So to build the Reapers Association, I wanted to take a look again at Cain's children. Now, if you go further down the line, you have Cain's great-great-great-great grandchildren. He's got 4 of them. So I decided to use these four to build what is known as the 4 columns of Reaper Society. Reaper Society has these 4 columns, and it's what everything else kind of pivots on, is these 4 columns. So let's take a look at those columns. The very first column in Reaper Society comes from Jabal, which was the oldest of the 4 of great grandchildren that Cain had. And Jabal, the column of Jabal, they are the harvesters. So their job, if you fall into this column, is to go out into the world. You recognize infants who have been born to human mothers who are reapers, and you collect them and you bring them back to the Reapers Association. So this is a smaller column. They aren't quite as big as some of the other columns, but they're very important, because without the harvesters, there would be no new generations and no new income of reapers. So the column of Jabal, they're the harvesters. The second column in the Reapers Association is the column of Jubal. Now, Jubal is the younger brother of Jabal, and they are the collectors. They are what you would traditionally think of when you think of reapers. They go into the world, they collect the souls, they catalog them, and they send them to wherever they're supposed to go. So that's their job. This is also where Admon falls into. He falls into this column. So Jabal, they are the collectors, the traditional reapers. The third column in Reaper Society is Tubal-Cain, which, and this spelled, of course, this is supposed to be a U. It's Tubal-Cain. And this is the third great-grandchild of Cain. And these are the executioners. They are a smaller, more elite group of reapers, and their job is to apprehend and bring back or execute reapers who have been deemed as functioning outside of the Reaper Code, or the way reapers are meant to function, which is very rigid. So that's their job. They also build and upkeep Reaper weapons. And so they are a very vital part of Reaper Society. Reaper Society is very rigid, and it's meant to function in a certain way, and when part of it doesn't, it has to be dealt with very quickly. And that's their job. The final column in Reaper Society is Namath, which was the younger sister of Tubal-Cain. And they are the teachers. When you are brought into the Reaper Society as an infant reaper, you're usually less than a week old. And so the teachers are the ones who help you develop, and they help mold and craft you into this ideal reaper. And you have to fit into the mold that they have built to fall into one of the columns. Otherwise, you are put down with the rest of the kind of lower rank reapers that aren't really considered reapers. They're more just, they hold up the 4 columns, because the 4 columns are what the society pivots around. So the teachers are very important, because they also play a hand in re-educating those that the executioner brings in and have been deemed needing re-education. So they are a very, very integral part of the society as well. Finally, you have the governing body of reapers that's over these 4 columns. And it is a small group known as the Council of 5. So you have 5 elders. 4 consists of 1 from each column. So you'll have 1 from the harvesters, 1 from the collectors, 1 from the executioners, and 1 from the teachers. And these are going to be reapers that have functioned in that column their entire lives, and they are very, very good at what they do, and they're older reapers, and they finally get placed on the Council of 5. And once these 4 are placed on the Council of 5, which gets rebuilt every 100 years, they elect a high elder. Now, this high elder could come from any of the 4 columns, but they have to be unanimously voted on by the other 4, and they have to be someone who's older than these 4, someone who's wiser than these 4, because their job is to offer sound advice, sound wisdom, sound judgment to the other 4, and also act as a tiebreaker in times that it's needed on a vote. So this is the group here that kind of oversees those 4 columns, and they work to oversee the groups of reapers that are below the 4 columns. So they are the governing body. So I briefly covered kind of the Reapers Association and how they function in the society that I am working on building. I didn't want to get too in-depth or too crazy with it. I wanted to try to keep this video fairly short for you all. But I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you find something interesting in it. And please share with me in the comments below or something if you find Reaper lore, Reaper mythology that you think is just really cool. Please share it with me, because that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for things to incorporate ideas from around the world that revolve around Reapers that I can pull in and bring in to make this society richer and more well-rounded. So if you find anything, or if you know of anything, please share it with me. Or if you have any thoughts on the information that I presented today, please comment, share, criticize. I'm here for that, and I appreciate all your feedback, and I appreciate all your help. And I hope you all have a wonderful weekend and enjoy the weather. And I look forward to seeing you all next week. Bye.